So I'm here with Rufus from the HBAR Foundation. It's great to catch up. We met over in HederaCon originally, so it's good to meet you again. Just wondering, I suppose, how you've been finding Paris Blockchain Week, and if there's any sort of trends or themes that you've noticed that have caught your attention.
Yeah, so I've been here the last few years, and generally there's always been an understanding that there's a lot of institutions here, but I think the last couple of years there's more of a marriage of both like retail developers, DeFi applications, GameFi, this kind of thing. Whereas this year it's definitely been a much stronger, I think, institutional turnout, whether that's real world asset tokenization, whether that's institutional DeFi, market making, this kind of thing. So whereas, the last couple of years, I think GameFi was one of the biggest trends for me. I think definitely this year, yeah, institutional enterprise, that kind of trend. And generally, I think that's been because of, the regulatory clarity that people are seeing. I think a lot of these enterprises are feeling like for the first time, they can go beyond sort of proof of concept stage, beyond pilot stage, and really seek partners to take them, onto mainnet and really develop those breakthrough applications that we've sort of been talking about, theorizing on for the last sort of, nearly decade now. And I think now they've sort of got the green light. So yeah, that's been the trend for me.
Okay, really interesting. And it's interesting that you mentioned the institutional piece because that was what we were actually wondering as well. Like, I mean, are you seeing more obviously institutional interest, or have there been any kind of consumer-facing apps or anything at that sort of level that has, I suppose, caught your attention?
Yeah. So interestingly, I think the only retail applications that I've really seen have been married with a similar interest to the institutions on the tokenization aspect. So whilst the institutions are talking about, tokenized monetary market funds, sort of yield-bearing stable coins, the somewhat looking towards breaking into DeFi, but the trend there has been asset tokenization of some kind, and also on the retail side and the consumer side, there's also been, again, sort of tokenization, whether that's sort of tokenization of sports contracts or tickets like you guys, of course, are doing. It really has been the theme is tokenization more than anything.
Okay, awesome. Because like that's the thing again, like there's obviously been in the crypto space, you obviously have a lot of speculative-driven projects based on tokenomics, and so what again, there really has been a large growth. Do you think in utility projects? Do you think that there's definitely more of a shift now? Do you think that we're finally at that stage, or do you still think there's some sort of like merit behind these speculative tokenomics-based projects?
Yeah, I think, it's a completely speculative industry at the very heart. The tokens are at the heart of it. And so there's always going to be an element of that. There's always going to be people looking to invest in the next token, invest in the next TGE. But I think whereas before, the last year and a half, we've seen hyper speculation based on sort of, I think the commodification of attention, like meme coins, sort of those weekly pump and dumps, the life cycle of a token only lasting between 1 to 3 weeks. The people that are looking to invest in TGEs that we've spoken with, looking to launch, are definitely on the utility side. Even the sort of more degenerative people that you speak to, the people that lead those kind of token investments from a retail level, they've definitely been, I think, exhausted by the meme coins. Where they're looking at meme coins, there's a word going around of sort of culture coins. So where a meme coin might become something with much more significant IP, so long-lasting brands tokenizing meme coins around that. So I think meme coins probably not the word that's being thrown around, but culture coins in regards to the sort of hyper-speculative side. But on the other more sort of long-term linking projects, it's definitely the utility side. So, whether those are real-world asset tokens, whether those are, pure DeFi protocols like perpetuals, this kind of thing. The TGEs that I've been hearing about, the tokens that are going to market, genuinely been a lot more utility-centric.
So just speaking on the meme coins and the degens, what was the last meme coin you actually purchased, and why did you buy it?
So I'm not going to say anything within the Hedera ecosystem, just I don't want to choose any favorites. But outside of that, I had Pepe on ETH, which was a good fun one that treated me very well. On Hedera, of course, I was using Meme Job. I bought maybe 5 or 6 different ones on that. Unfortunately, I always missed the bonding curve, so I came in much later than everyone else. Still haven't sold, so maybe one day they'll make me rich. But currently, the way where I'm looking is I'm excited for some, more of the utility TGs that are coming up, but I'm always going to have an interest in, the projects that are, even the meme coins that are building utility, whether those are chatbots or whatever that might look like. I'm very bullish on all aspects of the token economy on Hedera as well.
Okay, so there's been a lot of, I suppose, conversations. There's been a lot of, chats. There's been a lot of side events, and everyone's comes here for the alpha. So I suppose, is there anything like really cool, anything interesting, anything like super exciting that you're like, I'm hanging my hat there?
Yeah, I think the sheer volume of people generally that have come to our booth, recognizing the Hedera brand, recognizing the utility that Hedera is already given, not just in terms of speculative use cases. There's a lot of people saying, we believe that Hedera is at the forefront of that. We've been following you since sort of 2018, but only really in the last sort of year and a half have I become, beyond someone looking from afar, but now actively engaged, following the news, that kind of thing. So generally in terms of retail awareness, I've never seen retail awareness for Hedera stronger. That was both at ETH Denver as well as here. I think that's been a general topic that we've all been talking about. But on this sort of alpha side, there's been some really high profile people coming to the booth, whether that's PwC, whether that's London Stock Exchange. Obviously, I can't say anything that might be going on there. It's more just meeting them, talking to them, having them interested in Hedera, learning more. But to speak to the caliber of the people that have been coming through, definitely some really high profile institutions. So that's been exciting.
Yeah, it sounds really, really exciting, and it's really interesting to see like the growth in the RWA space that's happening at the moment. So obviously, we are heavily focused on ticketing at the moment, and it'd be cool just to get your insights, I suppose, on ticketing as a vertical. Like, obviously, we think it's gonna, it's aligned to make, drive true adoption. But it'd be interesting to hear what you have to think about it.
Definitely. I think one of the perfect use cases for something like ticketing is obviously tokenization, right? There's a huge amount of fraud that goes on in the industry, a huge amount of predatory sort of reselling. I think you guys are doing a great job at combating that on the fraud level, definitely. For me, I think you guys also, the strategy is perfect, going for sort of the outsider, fast growing sports, this kind of thing. Also the metaverse side, there's a lot of people that would love to be at Paris Blockchain Week Summit or ETH Denver from, other continents, for example, where they're priced out from attending. I think the value of having those developers here, being able to talk to, for example, people at the booth through your relationship with Infinite Reality, talking about, their own sort of developer experience, talking to our own engineers, but also being able to, watch the events, hearing from some of the best people in the world as if you're there. Of course, our CEO, Charles Atkins, Charles Hoskinson from Cardano. I think having the ability to be almost upfront and personal with that, not just through your laptop screen, which of course you are enabling for a lot of people, but also through the VR side. I think that's, for me in particular, being able to watch a sport, like, in the long term, perhaps like the World Cup or a big football match, being able to be in my, my house with my friends where we can't go and watch it in real life, but we can all put the goggles on, really feel like we're there. That more longer term vision as well for sports of that caliber, I think is really exciting. Fight sports, racing sports, whatever it might be. And so I think you guys are obviously at the forefront of that on Hedera, and really excited to follow, the conversations you've been having here. I've seen a lot of people coming in and, learning about the future partnerships that I've got the alpha on, but I can't quite share yet. I'll leave that to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Anytime. Great to see you.